Coming up on Transformers University, the Autobots fight fire with fire. Daniel fights some dinosaurs, and the Decepticons launch a massive attack on elementary school kids? If it sounds crazy, it must be the Transformers manga, and we're diving into it right now on Transformers University. Hello, my friend, and welcome to Transformers University. I am your host, Anthony Brucali, owner-operator, madman behind TFU.INFO, the website, the Toy Archive, TFU News and Views podcast, this podcast, and oh so much more. And I want to welcome you to episode number 132 of Transformers University. This time around, we are returning to the Transformers manga, but before we do, we have a cause for celebration. Assuming I get this episode out on time, which should be on or around September 4th, 2023, which is the final day of three important dates for this podcast. So back in 2017, episode 0 of this show dropped on September 2nd. The following day, September 3rd, is my birthday. And then following that, September 4th is the anniversary of the day episode 1 of Transformers University was released out into the wild. So thank you. Thank you for joining me on this journey for over the last 6 years. It's been a fun ride, and I hope you join me for the next 6 and beyond. Also, something I want you to keep an eye out for. You may have heard about the new Transformers comic coming from Skybound Entertainment. That issue drops in October, and I will be doing a special episode about the book in the near future. In fact, I already have a copy of the book, but I can't talk about it because there's an embargo on it. So until that embargo lifts, I do want to implore you to pre-order a copy of the book. And one way you can do that and help out a fellow podcast that I enjoy is by swinging on by to transmissionspodcast.com. Charles, Jeremy, and Daryl and the gang out there are offering up an exclusive cover variant done by artist EJ Sue of issue number 1. And you can pre-order it right now for $15. Those guys do great work. You've probably heard me on the show from time to time. And it's a great way to support that show. So check it out. Now, speaking of support, we have 2 new Patreon students joining us in the month of August 2023. So please welcome aboard Graham and John, 2 of our newest freshman-level students. And if you would like to help support the show directly, please swing on by to patreon.com/TFU.INFO, all one word, and you can sign up for as little as $1 a month. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Transformers manga. If you've joined us on previous episodes about the manga, you know how bonkers some of it can be. From Sixshot having a planet full of woodland pets to the Decepticons murdering puppies, it tends to get very, very weird. If you want to catch up on those old manga episodes, please check out episodes 28, 60, 65, 104, and 125 of this podcast. I'm using the Viz Media collection that came out a few years back to read through them. Which you can find on Amazon. I'll include some links in the show notes if you're interested. This is from Volume 2, all the issues we're talking about today. And if you're interested in ordering them, please use the Amazon links in the show notes, as it does go to help out this podcast and TFU.INFO. Now, we'll pick up where we left off. Back in episode 125, we covered through issue number 5 of the Headmasters manga. And today we pick it up with part 6. Once again, it's Christmas in a Transformers comic. No, there is no Ebenezer Seeker, but this time around we are in Japan, and the Headmaster Autobots, along with Raiden, are giving out toys to a bunch of elementary school kids. Highbrow asks about this boy that he heard was in a car accident. We find out this little boy's name is Masato, and he is at the children's hospital. His injuries have been surgically repaired, but he refuses to walk. Yes, refuses. Someone should send Chip Chase over to have a talk with him. Honestly, that's what I think. Instead, Highbrow decides he's going to go cheer up Masato and flies away. Immediately after Highbrow leaves, the Decepticons attack a gathering of Autobots with children. Yes, the Decepticons here in Headmasters are a murderous bunch, as we know from some of our previous interactions with them. Now, at the hospital, Highbrow is not making any headway with Masato. Masato says he'll never walk again, despite what his doctors say, and Highbrow takes him for a ride in his helicopter mode. They tour around and they watch some families celebrate Christmas, and Highbrow's trying to explain to him the importance of family. He notes that robots don't have parents at all. And before that guilt trip can take effect, Highbrow is called back to the Autobots to fight off the Murdercons' attack. Highbrow joins that fight while holding Masato in his wheelchair and gets shot by Mindwipe because, he's Mindwipe. This aggravates Masato so much that he decides to walk again. As he's crossing the battlefield, Mindwipe takes aim but is shot down by Chrome Dome's Transtector. The Headmaster Autobots then use a new super move called the Hellish Wheel, which is also the name of my favorite Judas Priest album. And the Autobots return to giving out presents. The end. Taking us to Chapter 7. Here we meet Artfire and Stepper, though Stepper is called Ricochet in this translation, as he's been called for the last 20 years or so. And both of their Target Master partners are both named Nightstick. Stepper's partner is actually named Nebulon, which I assume is somewhat confusing, but that's not less confusing than Artfire's partner being named Nightstick, who very much isn't Cyclonus' Target Master partner, also named Nightstick. But that's okay, because Nebulon would eventually get a toy release in the US and have his name changed to Nightstick. And that's because he's actually a recolor of the Cyclonus partner toy, Nightstick. And given that this is the Japanese continuity, neither Nightstick nor Nebulon are actually Nebulons.
I am your father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate.
What's that make us?
Absolutely nothing.
Now, Stepper and Artfire are sent to put out a fire. Nightstick, the Artfire one, climbs up Artfire's ladder to rescue some humans. Meanwhile, Stepper, Nightstick, the Nebulon one, who's not a Nebulon, Chrome Dome's Transtector, and Daniel all use hoses to put out the fire. But then the Decepticon Target Masters take the stage at Burning Man. Misfire, Trigger Happy, and Slugslinger shoot Stepper. Just then, Fortress Maximus arrives to help put out the fire in his battleship mode. So he is actually called Battleship Maximus. And the Autobot Target Masters harness the power of their Nightsticks to return fire and defeat Decepticons. The end. Okay, had enough bonkers Transformer stories yet? Oh, the best of the three is just yet to come right after this. Hey, want to help out this podcast or the website TFU.INFO? There's a number of ways you can do it. Let me tell you how. You can help us directly by joining our Patreon and enrolling as a student at Transformers University. There, you'll get early access to the podcast as well as exclusive behind-the-scenes peeks and perks for as little as $1 a month. Sign up is quick and easy. Just swing on by to www.patreon.com/TFU.INFO. Another way you can help us is by using our Amazon link, www.tfu.info/Amazon. Type that into your browser whenever you want to shop at Amazon, and a portion of what you spend will be contributed back to us. It's that easy. Finally, you don't become the world's longest running transforming toy archive without some help from other fans. We're always on the hunt for photos of figures and accessories we're missing from our pages. If you'd like to contribute, go to tfu.info/help for a list of what we need, or send an email to info@tfu.info. tfu.info, the Alpha Trion and Omega Prime of transforming toys. Now, back to the show. On to Chapter 8, shown as the final chapter in the text of the book, begins with narration about how the Autobots have defeated the Decepticons and sent them into deep space.
Space!
Spike, Carly, Daniel, Chrome Dome, and Wheelie talk about Earth and peace. Sound Blaster arrives to kick Wheelie in the face. Chrome Dome joins the fight, and Sound Blaster unleashes Slugfest and Overkill. The cassettes take down Spike as Carly and Daniel stand their ground. Sound Blaster offers Chrome Dome a deal. Join the Decepticons. But instead, Daniel joins the fight, taking on the cassettes by himself. He covers Slugfest's eyes and causes him to crash into Overkill, knocking them both out. Chrome Dome then defeats Sound Blaster with a Looney Tunes-style throw, tossing him over the horizon just in time for Rodimus to return from space.
Space!
Rodimus talks about the importance of Earth and tells Daniel he is a Transformer because he's growing up and he's transforming into an older person. The Autobots plan to head to space, and Wheelie invites Daniel to join them when he grows up. In the Decepticon epilogue of the story, as I like to call it, the Deceptologue, Sound Blaster lands, and his cassettes, including Ravage, Buzzsaw, and Laserbeak, find him, as does Sixshot. Now, Sixshot explains he is a mercenary and wants to further explore his ability to take on new modes. What's the mode he wants next? Well, he wants to be a human. Foreshadowing, perhaps? We will see. We end with Spike, Carly, and Daniel as the narrator wraps with this message. It was 2 months later that the Autobot warriors left the Earth in pursuit of the Decepticons. However, the story of the Transformers will yet continue. For now, we're the ones who will have to protect the Earth ourselves. Let's all work hard to create the future that we want to see. The Transformers of tomorrow are all of you. And there you have it. The Headmasters wrap up in manga form. I really like these stories. They're quick reads. They have very unusual takes on the Transformers. And given how short some of these stories are, it does leave a lot to interpretation, especially when you start thinking about why, right? Like, why are the Decepticons attacking children? Why are they attacking a burning building? Why do they want Chrome Dome to join them? These are things that are not answered, but at least left up to your own imagination, right? It's also interesting to note that for a very long time, this one manga story, Chapter 7, would be the only fictional appearance of Stepper and Artfire. They don't show up in the show. Stepper would not see new fiction until he was re-released in toy form in 2004, and Artfire would go on until 2011 before he would be included in a piece of Transformers fiction as part of the Japanese toy line Transformers United. For Overkill and Slugfest, this is their only other appearance in G1 fiction outside of Call of the Primitives, where they have a very, very brief appearance. As for the Target Masters, we'll see them in our cartoon coverage soon enough to better understand how they come to be in the Headmasters series. We'll get to all of that real soon in Transformers University, but there's a very special Headmasters episode coming up next time around. Want to know what it is? Stick around to find out. Thanks for listening to the show. Stick around to hear what's coming up next episode, but first, I want to fill you in on a few ways you can stay in touch with the show. Want to be on the show? Leave us a voicemail at 702-763-4838. That's 702-POD-4TFU. Or send an email to info@TFU.INFO. Be sure to catch us on Twitter at TFU_info and on Facebook and Instagram under the username TFU.INFO, all one word. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/TFU.INFO, where we post all of our podcasts plus special video segments, reviews, and live coverage of Transformers-related events such as New York Toy Fair and New York Comic-Con. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please visit us at www.tfu.info, the world's longest-running transforming toy archive. Next time on the show, we're talking about one episode of the Headmasters cartoon. I know, we usually do 2 or 3, but this one is important for all the wrong reasons. Mainly because of the Omnidub. Next week's episode was cemented in the fandom as a source of a lot of memes. Many, many memes. It's called I Risk My Life for Earth, or as the dub called it, Life Can Be Sacrificed for Peace on Earth. You're not going to want to miss this one. So until that time, please make sure you check out TFU on social media, at TFU_info on Twitter. Yes, still calling it that. New Coke of social media is X, so I am calling it Twitter. And TFU.INFO, all one word, just about everywhere else. You can catch us on Facebook, Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky, Mastodon, TikTok, YouTube, and of course on the web at www.tfu.info, home of the world's longest running transforming toy archive. Until next time, I am your host, Anthony Bricali, owner, operator, madman behind TFU.info. See ya.